Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What is going on, family? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz, look, we're diving deep and keeping it real. So please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. On this evening's conversation, man, a lot to discuss. I want to share some news in the as you know, I am a wrestling fan, and it was announced that New Day, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston will be leaving the WWE. New Day, popular tag team in the WWE. It initially started as three. It was Big E, Langston, then you had Kofi, and then you had Xavier Woods, and they were just this comical trio. I mean, they brought humor. They were athletes. You know, they hosted a WrestleMania. Sadly, Big E had suffered a bad neck injury, which retired him as a performer, but he is a commentator with wrestling. The other two continued wrestling. Kofi Kingston has been in WWE for a long time. I didn't realize how up there in age he was, and so when I heard that they were both leaving, I'm like, whoa, this is getting kind of major. Which I would say it's like you have some performers that it really all depends. Like, you have a lot of like long-standing people that will only be in the WWE, but now you have other promotions. You got AEW. Really, that's the only one that is somewhat on the scale of not equally, but I would say it's the only other like option that has a large national presence, right? Possibly even international presence, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that more. Also, Spirit Airlines like shut down abruptly, like just immediately, which it was a huge frenzy for not just employees but for individuals who were flying on Spirit Airlines. Now, I've never flown Spirit Airlines, but they were always very well known for affordable plane tickets. You go to anywhere, whether if it was from fly from the East Coast to the West Coast, it was very affordable. But it is announced that they will be shutting down. But the part that sucks to me is let people know, especially your workers. Workers are like, and so now they're stuck with these ticked off people who are stranded. They don't know how to get there, and how they're gonna get back home. They don't know if they're even gonna get their full their refunds back. I mean, it was a circus. So we're gonna talk about that and more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As always, my friends, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule for tuning into yet another great convo. I hope you all are having a wonderful evening. Look, I am still trying to wake up over the recently my bride and I, my queen and I, we went to go see Bruno Mars perform at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Bruno is by far, I've always, I wasn't a diehard fan of Bruno Mars, but it doesn't mean I didn't like him. Like, I'll listen to songs. I never disputed his talent, never disputed his success. I was just never, I didn't listen to his music like that. Mainly because y'all know I'm boring. I'm listening to podcasts or radio programs, talk radio programs preferably. I would from time to time listen to some music, listen to some tunes here and there, but Yeah. Anyway, my wife and I, we went to go see Bruno Mars at FedEx Field. He sold out, by the way. He sold out FedEx Field 2 nights in a row. I don't think you realize, like, football stadiums is the new norm for these singers, these entertainers. It used to be like, arenas, and you still have folks in arenas, but it's all about size capacity. The more the merrier. Give an opportunity for everybody to witness the spectacle of being, at a live concert. And when I tell you, Bruno Mars is one hell of an entertainer. This man, first of all, I know the budget for this, not just the tour, but just alone the show, was worth so much money. Because when I'm not going to say too much, because you probably are, that are listening, are probably got tickets, probably got your travel already set and ready. So I'm not going to say too much, but all I'm going to say is you are in for a treat. You are in for a treat. So the tour is called the Romantic Tour, and he's on there with so it's a few names. So you got uh Anderson Paak, who's an amazing performer, 9-time Grammy Award winning artist. He is, or was, one half of the popular group Silk Sonic. Okay. And you also had rising international star Ray. Okay. You got Victoria Monet. Then you also got Leon Thomas, one of the, recently crowned Grammy winning, award winning R&B singers and songwriters. And so you have an amazing lineup of performers on this tour. On this tour. Now, I will say, and maybe I might be, getting in I don't think I'm not getting in trouble for saying this, but I was under the impression that those all those artists that I just named, like, they all were gonna be on the same show. Now, I did get three. I'm obviously, you got, Bruno as your headliner, but I got two of those other names that I mentioned as like openers for him. So again, amazing concert. Definitely will want to go back. I didn't realize how large of a fan base Bruno Mars had, especially not just young people. I mean, people from little kids all the way to like grandparents status. Like, it was so interesting. My wife and I, we were at the hotel, and we had ran into a few people from our area, and some of them were, it was a best friends. They were there. They drove in, and they're like, "Oh, I just love him, love him." And then there was a couple that drove from Brooklyn to come see it. So he put on a show. But when I tell you, man, he got energy, because I think in total, of what I saw, he got like 80 dates, 80 dates in total. And a lot of the cities were like either 2 night, back to back, or some of them was like in the same city for 3 or 4 times, but the dates were kind of spread out. So it was a lot, man. It was a lot. Um, but I'm still trying to wake up from it, because I am exhausted, very much so exhausted. Before I finish talking about Bruno, I would say again, 10 out of 10. I know my wife was in heaven. She's talking to it to all her friends and family. I mean, she loves her some Bruno Mars. But it was a 10 out of 10. If y'all have got tickets, you are in for a treat. If you have not, hey, y'all missed out. But yeah, had to shout out that experience. That was a wonderful, wonderful time there. Let's see what we got. What was on my mind today? Let me see what is on my mind today. Well, I've been popping my head in from time to time to some of the local races in my neck of the woods, where I'm at in Virginia. And why? Because it's extremely important to get involved, and to um, not just to get involved, but to not just to get involved, but to be aware of who you have that, you know serve on these positions, right? What are their intentions on, why are they running for this? Is this an agenda base, or is this somebody that's truly passionate for the community and want to do better? It's just good to be in the know. And one thing that's always going to be, I think, a ongoing goal. I'm not going to say it's a battle, but it's an ongoing goal for me, is to continue to encourage young people to get more involved and to just be informed of your local positions, local politics. I'm actually going to have on very soon my good buddy Ty, because Ty is very much so involved in all things politics. Ty is very Ty champion. He is in everything. I'm talking in everything, very involved. Young guy, serves on some high positions, and we're gonna be getting in touch with Ty very, very soon and have him on, because I actually spoke with him today, and he's a strong Democrat. Okay, which says it's not wrong with that. He knows my thoughts on the party system, but that doesn't mean I can't have respectful conversation with folks from different party lines. But yeah, it's it was a good and eventful day. So let me go ahead and move it on here. Let's go ahead and take a break. I forgot to do the whole thank you, as always, my friends, for taking the time out your busy schedule. We drop new episodes Monday through Fridays, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's iHeart, Spotify, Apple, just to name a few. You can also listen to the Arrington Gavin Show on a few of our radio affiliates if you happen to be in the Las Vegas area. Be sure to tune into KSHP 1400 AM and 107.1 FM at 8 p.m. Fridays, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, only on, again, KSHP 1400 AM or 107.1 FM. And then we're going to head over to the Atlanta area to WDJY 99.1 FM, where you can listen to the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then lastly, we're heading to New Orleans, WBOK 1230 AM. Weeknights, you can listen to the Arrington Gavin Show at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's only on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. And of course, you can check out past episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show on GOATverse TV, so be sure to download the app. It's filled with great independent content, from music to sports to comedy to myself talking politics and pop culture. I mean, it's a plethora of content you got there. And also, if you have not done so yet, family, please do me a favor, help us grow our YouTube channel, which it is, but we want to continue we need to keep that momentum going. If you have not done so yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Arrington Gavin Show YouTube channel. We have a goal to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we see growth each and every day, so let's keep that momentum going, as I mentioned earlier. Let's see here. I think that was all. Okay, so now we're gonna head to a commercial break. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
6'10", number one pick, 16 seasons, college player of the year, all rookie standout. Joe Smith built a career on grit, consistency, and showing up.
Greatness isn't just about the game. It's about how you show up every day. Rugged Evolution now offers body care products for every man, because not every man wears a beard, but every man deserves care. Greatness doesn't fade.
It evolves. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Every beard deserves to be legendary, and every man deserves care.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, that's that new GOATverse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GOATverse TV.
GOATverse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In GOATs, we trust.
Let me tell you something most people get wrong about Suits. A suit isn't just about you wearing it. It's how you show the world who you are. It's your handshake before you say a word, your presence when you step into any room. That's why we design statements at Dapper Luke. We don't just make suits. We'll start with the fabrics that tell your story, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends sourced from the finest mills in Italy, the UK, and India. Then we'll combine that with your vision, your personality, and your style. Every detail is tailored to you, from the fit to the finish. Whether for your wedding, a gala, the boardroom, we specialize in creating custom suits that are unique, just like the men who wear them. We spent years perfecting this craft, apprenticing under designers in New York and showcasing collections in New York and for Baltimore Fashion Week. None of that matters as much as seeing the look on your face when you try on your custom suit. Over 900 clients have already trusted us to deliver the best custom suits. They trust me to deliver the confidence. We proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore and would be honored to bring your vision to life next. Let's create something unforgettable. Book your free consultation today at www.dapperluke.com.
Alrighty, family. Let's start this show. Okay, so very first thing I want to talk, because I didn't think I had a chance to discuss it on the last one. Governor of Maine, Janet Mills, recently announced that she was dropping out. Hold on. There we go. That's what we wanted. Janet Mills recently announced that she was spending her campaign, her bid for U.S. Senator for Maine. She has been serving as the governor out there for some time. And let me just go ahead and read you more of this in context here. Reported by NBC News, says here, she recently suspended her campaign for Senate, citing lack of financial resources and clearing the way for military veteran and oyster farmer Graham Plattner in the Democratic primary ahead of the general election against GOP member Senator Susan Collins. A quote Mills left is, "While I have the drive and passion, commitment and experience, and above all else, the fight to continue on, I very simply do not have the one thing that political campaigns unfortunately require today, the financial resources." Now, let me pause that right there, because I will be having on soon on the show expert, just all around, I would say a grassroots expert when it comes to campaigns on a grassroots level, Jen Johansson. And I'm when I hear the whole money thing, look, I get it, because, and I want to say worked, but I've always been supportive of local candidates. That being said, when they have certain events, they're like, "Hey, look, can't do this without funds. I need this, I need that," and it's very much so, right? It is very expensive to to run a campaign, right? You got literature, okay, you got ads you got to pay for, you have events that you need to host, you have what else? I've already said literature. It's a certain level, but sometimes I feel like it's a stretch when they say, "Well, I have to shut down this campaign because I just don't have the money to do so." Now, maybe the money could have been to travel around the full state of Maine, which Maine is not that big, but maybe that was the case. Maybe she just didn't have the funds to pay for ads that the way that she wanted to. I don't know. I think it's interesting coming from a sitting governor of the state. I think that's quite interesting. And then, I mean, I don't know how much the funds are. Let me see if I can pull up very quickly here the comparison between the two. Which, here's the interesting thing: Graham Plattner went. He's a controversial candidate. The reason why is because he had a tattoo on his chest, I believe, and I don't know if it's still there. I believe he got it removed, but he had a tattoo of a swastika on his chest or shoulder, one of the two. But anyway, he had a tattoo, and it was it was find it in between. It was another. It was something else. He had said something very offensive, I think, through social media back in the day, right? Because that's what happens when you run for office. They're gonna find your background, right? They want to make sure, okay, who are we gonna be bringing on in office? If this person possibly will become the next senator in Maine, like who is the real Grand Plattner? And I'll be honest, after hearing about, and don't get me wrong, he's been very apologetic about the whole thing. But at the end of the day, it was done. You were a grown ass man when it was when you got the tattoo, when you had the tattoo. Other people are gonna have a different mindset. I don't live in the state of Maine. Maine is an interesting state. I wouldn't even call it, like, I don't know if is it a blue state, is it purple? I don't really know. It's interesting. It might be purple, I would assume, because you got a Democratic governor, but you have a GOP Republican senator, senior senator out there. So now it says here, now this is in the 2026 cycle Snapchat overall funding. Plattner raised $12 million. $12 million. Janet significantly less overall. I think in a quarter comparison, early 2026 quarter, he had about 4 million. She had about 2.6 million in the same period. Look, again, still a lot of money. But I think I really don't know. The big question is, will national Democrats support Graham Plattner? Now, Maine Democrats, yeah, most likely. And I know what you're probably saying. Well, is if the Maine Democrats support him, then he's pretty much good. Well, obviously, it takes two parties, right, to elect somebody to run statewide. You don't just have Democrats in the state of Maine. You have Republicans too. You have independents as well. And so, but if the Maine Democrats will probably be the least of his worries. But at the end of the day, when it comes on a national level and you're running for Senate, right, which is a federal position, you have to, you have to get support from other big names in the party, right? And again, when this first came out, the story of the whole swastika tattoo, I'm like this. Okay, now Democrats, you gotta be fair here. You can't criticize one individual on one side for saying, hey, this person did this person did that, they did this, and then you try to defend this guy. Like, okay, call a spade a spade. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You gotta either say they gotta drop out because he will hurt the party, or they want to stand by firmly behind them. Now, me personally, I think it's going to be an interesting race. Why? Because Susan Collins has been in office for a long time. I think what, over 30 years, or almost close to 30 years. She's been in office for a long time representing Maine. It is time for new representation. I'm assuming that's what Maine wants as well. I mean, you got an oyster farmer, for crying out loud, being being considered a strong candidate and possibly the Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate. Says here, Senate Democrats have touted Mills as a top recruit to take on Collins, who is the only Republican senator representing a state that President Trump lost last year. Maine is practically a must-win if Democrats are the net for the 4 seats they need to take control of the chamber in 2026 midterm elections. But Collins have proven a tough opponent is in previous elections. After launching her Senate campaign in October, Mills struggled to gain traction against Plattner, who burst onto the scene as a brash. Now, Plattner did start, I believe, earlier than Mills, but he burst onto the scene as a brash political newcomer and quickly built a loyal following. Now, Plattner notched endorsements from high-profile progressive leaders, including Senator Bernie Sanders, independent out of Vermont, and Elizabeth Warren, Democrat out of Massachusetts. Now, most importantly, he built a major support among Maine Democrats. Up, see, I mentioned leading by double digits in recent polls and of primaries. Now, his rise and the governor's struggles came despite top Democrats' preference for Mills, turning this campaign into a rare rebuke of party leaders in a top tier race. Meaning that, okay, career politicians, you did your part on governor, but leave it to somebody new that could bring a different perspective on the Senate side. Now, Mills was backed by the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, a Democrat who viewed her as the party's best general election candidate. Now, Schumer and the committee chair Kirsten Gillibrand, Democrat out of New York, did not reference Plattner in a joint statement of Mills' departure. Says here, Mills, 78 years old. Okay, 78 years old now. 78. Sought to quell concerns about her age, but pledging the only served one term in the Senate. But some Democratic voters were still concerned about the age, as they should. As they should. Look, Congress just lost a member who was 80, written his papers to run for re-election. Man was barely let me not get there, but they viewed Plattner as the candidate with the best chance of beating Collins. 73-year-old Collins, despite a slew of controversial social media posts from his past that generated headlines in recent months. As I mentioned, Mills had argued those posts would make Plattner vulnerable to GOP attacks, which it will be, which it still has. Plattner was a prolific commentator on Reddit, making statements downplaying sexual assault, criticizing police and rural Americans. An Army and Marine veteran, Plattner attributed the post to his struggles with post-traumatic stress after serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. He said the controversy strengthened his campaign. Now, Mills highlighted that Plattner's comments downplayed sexual assault in her first ad attacking him with her allies, suggesting the comments would turn off female voters who have been a key part of Collins' coalition. Republicans have already began attacking Plattner as he pulled ahead of the primary. The GOP super PAC, Pine Tree Result PAC, launched an ad highlighting those controversial social media posts and Plattner having a tattoo that resembled a Nazi symbol. Plattner has said he was not aware of the Nazi connection and has since covered up the tattoo. He was saying he was unaware of the Nazi connection, but he covered. Anyway. Long story short, my friends, this will be an interesting race now that she has dropped out. Again, you got a newcomer, someone who's brash, someone who's not a common fixture in the Democratic movement. I think if he wins, he would definitely be a new face, but it will be hard. It will be extremely hard for him to continue to fully go, remove himself, or for folks to not remember, okay, wait a minute, didn't this man have some offensive, tattoos or something? Like, hold up, who, and then again, the verbiage that he said on Reddit, it'll be hard for them to stand by him. But I've heard experts and political strategists say that, Maine is an interesting place. Maine is very interesting. So we will see that, my friends. We will see. Let me digress and move it on to I don't remember David Scott. David Scott was a longtime congressman out of Georgia, and he sadly had passed recently. And due to he was ill, but it was already controversial when he at the time announced that he was running for re-election in Congress in Georgia, because the scene, it was a picture of him in a wheelchair, looking very ill, filling out his paperwork or turning in his papers for re-election. Again, I'm a realist, right? If I'm a realist, if I'm losing my train of thought because I just saw like a notification on my phone. So I kind of where was I going with this? Oh, if you continue to encourage and you give off your passion to people, say, look, I will fight for you, and I will do this and do that. And it's like realistically, they're gonna be saying, well, physically, it looks like you can't fight. Physically, you can't even stand on your own. So it was rough. And like I said, sadly, he had lost, he had passed, but he was a long time, very successful, had a great career in the world of politics and served on Congress. Now, new news has just been shared or just been brought up here that his daughter, Marcy Scott, is going to pursue and make a run for her father's seat. Let me go ahead and share you this clip here.
Matt, thanks so much. The late Congressman David Scott was laid to rest yesterday. And of course, since his passing, the question is who will replace him? Friday, Governor Brian Kemp set a special election for July 28th. We're now learning a familiar face will enter the race.
Marcy has been working for her father's campaign and fundraising efforts for over 20 years, and she plans to run in the special election.
I am going to announce as soon as the date.
Let me hold on, let me prevent this one here because y'all, I always like to, I gotta due to rules, you heard some background music there, so I didn't want to extend that, so get myself in trouble because we did not pay for that. But so what she explained, and she mentioned it, which is a bit tacky. I don't know, maybe it's just me. You announce your father's, you use your father's, how can I say it? Because I'm not trying. To her, it was the right time to say I'm gonna run for my father's seat at his homegoing. Now, me personally, I think that's if I was a strategist, if I was a part of her team, I wouldn't have done it there. Obviously she's gonna have her. It's not like she had her campaign kickoff there, but she made the announcement there. I would have announced it later, a little later on. I get it. It's already a packed race right now, but I just think that the moment is to celebrate his life, right? The moment is to focus on him, and the to use that platform to make the announcement. I'm not quite fond of that, if I might say. Marcy did tell, she told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution this week that she was considering launching a political bid this cycle before her father's death. She told the outlet she now sees the special election as a way to carry on his legacy. I would love to be able to fill in the gaps for him. I've got the experience. I can tell you that I know everything about the 13th district, just like him. I think my father would come back to life and kick my butt if I didn't. The Georgia's 13th congressional district covers portions of 6 counties in the Atlanta metropolitan area. The district has been a stronghold for Democrats, with the late Representative David Scott easily defending his seat since his initial election in 2002. He became the first Black lawmaker to chair the House Agriculture Committee in 2021, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called him a trailblazer. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, Republican, has yet to schedule a special election to fill the vacant U.S. House seat. The winner of this election would serve out the remainder of the current term through the end of 2026, after which the winner of the midterms would assume office. Now, State Senator Emanuel Jones is currently considered one of the top candidates in the November race, and he told the AJC that he would also consider running in the special election. This wouldn't not be the first time that lawmakers' daughter has publicly considered running for their father's seat. Representative Adelita Grijalva, Democrat of Arizona, won a special election last, represented by her father, the former Representative Raul Grijalva, excuse me, out of Arizona, representing the 7th congressional district. So again, it has been done, but we will see this. We will see this, and we'll keep close eyes on this race. And yeah, that's all I can say. We will see. We will see. Let me go ahead, my friends, digress from this, and I want to talk some. This was really crazy, y'all. So Spirit Airlines recently announced their closure, and it was unannounced, by the way. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming whatsoever. Employees did not see this coming. Employees did not see this. Folks that had just bought train tickets, plane tickets, and they're busy traveling, like mid travel. Oh, cancel. And I'm just like, whoa, and it just shut down. Like they just left. And I haven't heard anything from the higher uppers at Spirit Airlines. But just to kind of give you a little brief overview about Spirit Airlines was always very popular because of inexpensive ticket prices, plane ticket prices. And everybody used to go to Spirit. I remember there were some celebrities at the time that, they showed that, oh my gosh, you're flying Spirit. I ain't never flew Spirit. Not because, oh my gosh, they're cheap. No, because sometimes when those deals are just too good to be true, if I got to pay a little money for a certain experience, I will pay it, because at the end of the day, I'm 30,000 plus feet in the air, maybe higher. And I want to make sure I am safe and secure. Okay. And I don't want no trouble. I do not want any trouble, my friends. So again, this here has been this has been one just hell of a story. Let me go ahead and share you this. This is from a local, not local, but a content creator shared her experience, because she was there in the heat of the moment. She already had it, excuse me, had her phone recorded and explained. So let me go ahead and share that video with you all, and we'll talk on the other side about this.
For your passengers going to Columbus on flight 546, your flight has now been canceled.
Currently stuck in the Orlando airport trying to get home. I am shooting a wedding tomorrow, and I was at this conference, and the only flight that I could afford, to be honest, was a Spirit flight heading home. So we're supposed to leave at 5 o'clock. I get to the airport on time, and then I check the news, and Spirit announced that they are shutting down tomorrow. And so we have 3 delays, and all of a sudden the flight gets totally canceled. And now we have 175 Ohioans really pissed. So can we get a refund? And I need to This is the line.
Ooh.
Because Spirit just canceled hundreds of people's flights because they just found out they were going out of business and didn't tell their own employees. And they said no refunds, no hotels, tough luck. And they're rebooking you on flights for tomorrow that will not take place because the company will not exist tomorrow. And this is the chaos that is left over. Yeah. That's
I mean, y'all, do you see how long that line is? That line looks just like when they had the what was it? The shutdown. The federal, was it the government shutdown? and TSA workers was shorthand, and it was causing it was just a lot of backup in like those very, very big airport. Maybe I think Atlanta Airport might have been one of them, but they didn't even tell their employees. And that's why, and I'm happy that, yeah, you saw folks very irritated, especially, the girl said, I think she was leaving out of Ohio. She said, look, you got like 175 Ohioans, very, PO'd. But you know what? They didn't take their anger on the employees, because the employees are just as frustrated. They're like, we just found out. And now you have employees that were either getting ready to retire or need this job. It's just sad, the fact that no one told us anything. And that's unfortunate when you have these major corporations that they do this and they could care less. Why? Because you got those successful, 7-figure salary folks, maybe even more, that, well, I can take the hit, or they ain't got to see me. I don't have to. I never spoke to any of our workers. I mean, it's the world we live in, y'all. And it's very unfortunate. It's very, very sad. But there was a story where a TikTok creator has planned to crowdfund Spirit Airline So $12 million in pledges before the site crash. TikTok thought is this a TikTok creators? A TikTok thought experiment about collectively buying a bankrupt. Oh, hold up. Totally different story, but this is crazy. It says here Hunter Peterson launched a Let's Buy Spirit.com within hours of the airline's collapse. By Sunday afternoon, his site said it had drawn pledges for more than 36,000 people. Okay. So what's, I mean, like, Peterson addressed the crash directly in a video post, and he said, website is very broken. I built that in like an hour, and like it's terrible. He said, identifying himself on camera as Hunter Peterson, potential maybe future CEO of Spirit Airlines. He said he was rebuilding the site. Okay, I'm gonna stop wasting my time reading about this article. Anyway, Duffy though. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is blaming the Biden and Buttigieg team for the Spirit Airlines collapse after block merger. Okay. You're always going to hear this administration find some reason to criticize previous administrations. And to me, sometimes it gets old when you continue to be like, well, they're the ones that need to be blamed, not us, but them. This is their fault. They did this. Yeah. So Duffy said recently that former President Joe Biden's administration decision, alongside former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and the U.S. Department of Justice, to block a proposed merger with JetBlue after the airline ceased operations earlier and entered liquidation. He said the Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg administration and DOJ tanked the deal. Immediately after that, they filed for bankruptcy. His remarks came as Spirit Airlines, as you know, approximately 3 a.m. on a Saturday, 3 a.m., closed call centers and ticket counters and began what he described as an orderly liquidation process while federal officials and airlines moved to assist affected passengers. He also said that the shutdown left no operation, no support for travelers, which sucks. Duffy also added, Spirit does not have airplanes in the air flying as of that morning. If you have a flight scheduled with Spirit Airlines, don't show up to the airport. There will be no one here to assist you. I tell you, man, I tell you. So who's that leave now? You got United, Southwest, you got American Airlines, you got JetBlue, Breeze. I heard about Breeze is pretty popular, right? So there's a few. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Spirit has been in existence from, let me see how long they've been uh operating. They founded in 1964. 1964 as well, I guess you could say 33 years. Okay, no, I'll say 33 years. So 1992, let's say that, because it was a totally different company back in the 60s. They uh in 83 it was called Charter One Airlines, and then in 92 as Spirit Airlines. So they went over a change there. But this is unfortunate, man. This is really unfortunate. And to not let folks know is just, I mean, again, it's extremely sad and very unprofessional. But hey, that's the world we live in, y'all. That is the world we live in. Let's go ahead and we're gonna take another break here. You listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere and do not change that dial.
Order your beard care products with Rugged Evolution. We're your local beard care line that supports the maintenance of your full, mature beard. Our line includes conditioning shampoos, moisturizers, balms, oils, shaving lotions, and exfoliating soaps. These products moisturize, hydrate, nourish, and have all the natural ingredients for a healthy beard. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
Hey, Dad, want to go for a walk?
Well, that'll help me get my steps in for the day. Gotta stay healthy and strong.
Bet you're healthier than me.
I'd like to keep it that way. Doc says I need to walk 10,000 steps a day. How long is that?
Don't know. How about you tell me a story instead of counting steps?
I could tell you about the house my father and uncle built for us.
That's a couple of thousand steps right there.
Staying connected keeps you going strong. Learn ways to stay happy, active, and independent at cdc.gov/stillgoingstrong.
What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back. As you know, I am a huge wrestling fan. Wrestling has always been just a favorite thing to not partake, but I've always consumed, I was always consuming wrestling when I was a little kid. When it was time to play with action figures, or when I had toys, they were always wrestling action figures. When I was playing video games, they were wrestling video games. If I was watching something on TV, it was wrestling. I've always loved wrestling. As y'all all know the whole story, fell off for some time and then kind of started to come back watching a little bit, not as involved. Like it's so far in advance to like catch up on the storylines, because wrestling is like soap operas. Okay, if you think you can just say I've never watched General Hospital and you decided to just start watching it from day one, good luck. Okay, because programs like that has been on forever, and so when I look at wrestling now, right, when I start watching it, we had WWF, WCW. Those are the only two popular ones. Then you had TNA, slowly but surely, starting up a little later on. Now you still have TNA, right? It was called Impact Wrestling for a minute, and then they changed back the names TNA. But TNA and wrestling, to me, looks like they have like this partnership where I think on the low WWE owns TNA, but I could be wrong. I gotta talk with my experts, my friends who are very involved in wrestling. But I'll just say you have WWE being the king, being the mecca of it, because they are the most. They're multi-billion-dollar company, traveling the world, selling out stadiums, not one but two nights in a row. They're selling out overseas, Saudi Arabia, France, you name it. They are just on a roll. And that being said, they're making a lot of money. They're the mecca, but they're I wouldn't consider them really competition, but they're competitors. AEW, I believe that's called All Elite Wrestling, quite popular. But I look at All Elite Wrestling honestly, and this is no disrespect to those that compete in it, because I've been to a live taping of AEW, and it was dope. It was dope. But it's like it's starting to be like the Bellator for the WWE. If y'all don't recall, Bellator was supposed to be the competitor of UFC. They were on the brand on the cusp of trying to be more popular than UFC. So you had a lot of these long-time old fighters. Some of them should have been retired, and they will do these like never thought this would happen, like pay-per-view fights. I remember one time watching Ken Shamrock and Royce Gracie. Both of them should not have been fighting at all. And the fight was trash. Of course, the promotion of the fight was so popular because, oh, you got Ken Shamrock, world's dangerous man, and then you got Royce Gracie, the founding father of the UFC. Like, it was, well, not even just founding father of the UFC, founding father of jiu-jitsu. Okay. Gracie family, very, very popular. But anyway, going back to these two promotions, I've seen them now grown, and you're seeing folks you have new wrestlers rising, growing their careers, and now you've seen those from my era retiring. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, retired. Well, Ric Flair, been retired. Undertaker, retired. The Rock, pretty much retired. Okay. You have Stone Cold, retired. Kurt Angle, retired. Just recently, John Cena, retired. Okay. He's retired. Who does that leave really in my era? Randy Orton is still competing. I wish he didn't, because you gotta be careful on the body with these guys being at that age and stuff. But anyway, I bring up all that history because recently it was announced that, and this was a viral story here, that Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, known for their group as New Days, okay, the New Day, announced that they were leaving WWE. And I'm like, wait, what? I mean, these are WWE's most popular, one of their most popular duos, most popular groups, right? And so I'm reading this here this is reported by let me read you this article here. I'm trying to find the Uncrowned Wrestling. There we go. Says here, one of WWE's most decorated and legendary tag teams, the New Day, have reportedly parted ways with the company. In a shocking development, Fightful and Body Slam reported that the New Day's Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods mutually decided to end their 16-year run as a group and exit WWE. The news come less than 24 hours after both wrestlers were added to the WWE's official alumni page, a typical precursor for talent leaving the company. Additionally, factions members MFT factions members JC Mateo and Tonga Loa have reportedly been released from the WWE as part of the company's post WrestleMania roster reset. Okay, so Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez reported that Kingston and Woods elected to depart the company after being asked to reconstruct their existing contract, and that both men are still under 90-day non-compete deals. 90 days, so they can't do nothing for the next 3 months. As long as they're getting paid, but it's like, geez Louise, it's like it's kind of unfair, because like in those 3 months, I hope they get paid a lot, because you're telling me I can't do anything. I can't work within the wrestling field until 3 months. Now he can obviously do podcasting or they can find other things, right? These wrestlers are like, they're professional athletes. They're world-class athletes. They have outside brands, endorsements, the whole 9 yards. Kingston's time on the WWE main roster dates back to 2008, y'all, while Woods' main roster debuted in 2013. Now together, the non-retired third member, Big E, they formed the New Day in 2014 and embarked on the most successful tag team run in modern history, securing a record 13 tag team championship reigns, including a record 483-day reign as Raw tag team champions. Now, Kingston and Big E also won WWE champions as solo acts, driven in part of the group's incredible success and rabid fan base. Now, after a 2022 injury forced Big E to retire from in-ring competition, Kingston and Woods continued as a duo under the New Day name, ultimately turning heel in a stunning scene during the group's 10-year anniversary celebration in late 2024. Now, several major AEW names are already pushing for Kingston and Woods to join WWE's chief rival. As I mentioned, it's really their only main rival. Top AE star MJF posted on Instagram story in support of the New Day shortly after the news had broke. Now, I'm looking at my time here. So New Day, well, the AEW has a number. They have Chris Jericho, they have Christian Cage, they have Edge, they have oh my goodness, Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin. They have a large number of successful former WWE superstars that's now with AEW. Sting, popular WCW member, he was on AEW for a minute. Billy Gunn and his two sons were, on there. I mean, they have a large number of former WWE stars. So I think they very much still can perform. Obviously, it will be big for AEW. Now, could AEW afford them compared to what they were getting in WWE? I don't know the way the money is. I know it'll be a pay cut. That I do know, but it will be interesting, y'all. It will be very interesting seeing how the future will hold for New Day. Would New Day go international? Will they go to New Japan? Or will they stay in the States and go AEW? It will be interesting. Or would it just be one of them? Because, again, Kofi been performing for a while. I doubt he'll want to retire like this. He want to retire on his own terms. But Xavier Woods, they both have big personalities, and wherever they land, they'll be very successful. But I think this is interesting when you have your very popular names that have helped make a lot of money for the business, and they can't find a way to come to a compromise, and then WWE's like, all right, bye-bye, like, on to the next. WWE has so many performers, man, so many wrestlers. It's insane. I mean, you have women, you have men. It's a lot to try and keep up with. But yeah, we will talk a little more in regards to this story. I'll talk with my good friend Aaron Phillips, right? Media personality who was on here not too long ago on the show because he is a true wrestling fan. But my friends, my time is coming to a close for today's episode. But as always, thank you so much for sticking with us here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Be sure to listen in weeknights to another great convo. Stay informed, stay safe out there, and stay blessed. I will talk to y'all soon for another great convo here on the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.